Good Thursday morning, everybody. Beautiful day here in Central Florida. Started the day off at 76 degrees, 56% humidity. So we're looking a little bit better today, but we're still going to get up there. Hey, it's going to be a great day. You just make it that way. I want to speak on something. I try to stay out of political crap, but I'll put it like this. You're paying too much taxes when your city, county, or state can provide all this nonsense stuff for people on your tax time. The only thing my city needs to do is make sure I have police protection, emergency services protection, so fire and ambulance, roads that I can drive down without having to replace tires and suspension parts every month. And they struggle with that. Streetlights in appropriate areas, city parks, education programs for children and adults. I'm all for adult education programs, helping people get GEDs that didn't get a diploma, helping people improve themselves. I'm all for that stuff. But they don't need to be providing money to do art projects on the streets and painting the streets different colors or murals and stuff like that. I just don't think that's a good use of tax dollars. Listen, if I'm a business owner, and I am, but if I owned a building, which I don't, I would love to support an artist by letting them paint my building. I'd pay for the materials, pay them. I would love it because it attracts people to my business. That's a benefit for my business. And I love some of the beautiful murals that some of the cities have, these small cities have, of what it used to be like and stuff like that. I do. I like it. But I don't think my tax dollars need to pay for that. I don't think tax dollars need to pay to convince me that I am something I'm not. There's some corporate initiatives that don't need to be in our city, county, or state government. All right? Protect me from burglary and fire. Keep my streets good. Keep the lights on, the street lights on. Take care of the parks, which I have to say, there's some parks that aren't being kept up with in my area, and shame on the city for always saying, oh, we need to get some private donors, and we need this, and we need that, and we don't have the money for this. Well, what kind of stupidity are you spending your money on? I can tell you some projects that I think are 100% positive for the safety of our community. Around the schools in my neighborhood, they have raised sidewalks. I love them. They have reflective strips, yellow reflective sticks, the yellow reflective strips on the posts to crossing signs. They have red reflective strips on stop sign posts. Some areas have these little solar-powered red lights around the stop sign that flash. I think those are good initiatives. I really do. I think that's worth spending money on. I don't think it's worth spending money on free Wi-Fi for the whole world. Sorry. I have this phone right here, has unlimited everything, and I can get a good signal and get what I need easily. And it costs me $360 a year. A year. For all that. That's less than $1 a day. Now, maybe that's a little too much for some people, but when I came to Florida, I had the clothes on my back and a few other things. And I walked the city of Brooksville, and back then there wasn't nearly what it is today, until I got a job. And I got a job pretty quick. I walked to that job because I didn't have money for a bicycle or a car. Then when I got my next job, I walked to it, and one of my coworkers saw me walking and said, "Hey, you know what? If you're in this area every day, I'll pick you up. You got a ride." Then I had money to get a car, an old Dodge Aspen. I don't remember what year, but it was the old model, not this new little thing they got running around now. It had a slant six engine in it. You couldn't kill that for nothing. I don't think I paid $600 for it. Good car, lasted me a while. You just work for what you got to work for. When I got out of the Army and my wife went her own way, I was down to nothing again, and I walked to work for a long time until I had enough money to go to the pawn shop and buy a bicycle. Then I rode that bicycle until I had enough money to buy an $800 car. Before that, I had an Oldsmobile first, $800 Oldsmobile. I forget what year, and it lasted me, I don't know, a little while. And then I got a 1984 Ford Tempo. Nope, not a pretty car. 4-speed on the floor. And I ran that thing into the ground. I drove that thing for years and years and years, and it got me where I needed to go. Was it pretty? Nope. Did it get me where I needed to go? Yeah. Then I got a Toyota Tercel. And that, again, was an $800 car. Yeah, you can't find $800 cars no more. Rode that around for a while until it was about done. And then I paid $500 for a Ford Econoline van, panel truck. Ran that around for a long time until I didn't want to put any more money in it. And then I had a '09 Ford Explorer. I ran that around until, I could have fixed it, but I didn't want to put any more money in it. So then I got this 2019 Ford F-150. Nicest vehicle ever in my life. I love it. All that to say, you work for what you need, and you don't expect people to give it to you. I don't understand why people expect people to hand them things. You work for what you need. All right? I'm in a very good career path right now. Very good. I am going, Lord willing, and pending any crazy changes, I will retire at this job because it is a very good career. When I was hired, I was doing a different job. All right, I did maintenance planning and scheduling. Then they added in some safety stuff. And then they added in this, that, and the other. So I went to an OSHA 30 class in Irving, Texas in 2008. And then I had this plan of different things to go through, and I completed all that. Then they handed me something called environmental, and I didn't know what on earth I was doing. So I took every class I could. And when an auditor came in for ISO 14001, he told me that my binder of my credentials was bigger than anyone's he's seen. Now, I didn't go to extra college. These are all certifications I could get by going to in-person classes or taking online classes. Online at that time wasn't very common. Most of these classes were in person, and they were quite expensive, but my company paid for it because I was bettering myself for the company. I was making myself more valuable to the company. So now I have environmental certifications, safety certifications, a multitude of things, So you keep building up yourself to make yourself more valuable for who you work for, to progress, to develop yourself, and to earn more money. And if you can't get more money, get more benefits. All this stuff's negotiable. All right? So I don't like my tax dollars going to things that are not necessary. I think that local communities should support local communities. The local charities and local churches can take care of the a lot of the issues, and if there is some city help, I don't mind my tax dollars going to some of that. I don't mind helping pay for school lunches or school breakfasts. I don't mind paying for crossing guards and law enforcement and fire services and paramedics and all that stuff. That makes sense. I don't mind paying for water utilities, wastewater utilities, the infrastructure. I don't mind paying for services that help keep the lakes clean. I'm talking about environmentally and things like that. But there's a lot of junk we don't need our taxes to go for. So anytime there's an amendment on the ballot to reduce taxes, I'm voting for it because you never see them. It's always, we need to increase the millage rate. We need to increase this. We need to increase that. And then when someone talks about decreasing it, oh, well, you got to pay for police and fire. Let me tell you something. That's a give me. They've got so much money. Look at what your city's doing, what your county's doing. They've got so much extra money. They're throwing it at slush funds and stupid crap we don't need to be paying for. We don't need to be paying for career politicians. You shouldn't be able to retire wealthy, and I mean filthy rich, as a career politician. I just don't think you should. Unless you also have other things. If you're writing books, if you're doing other things to make your money, that's great. But I don't think you should make it off tax dollars. I think it's crazy. And I think one of the most dangerous things on the face of this planet right now is the uneducated voter. So educate yourself and vote. I voted this last Tuesday, and you know what? There wasn't a lot of people that voted in our district. And it's sad because it was just more local. It was school board, it was judges and representative, and in the primaries. And I got to tell you, if you got a problem with your school board and you don't vote, shut your mouth. I mean, I hear people complain about things going on in the school, but they don't go vote. So what are you doing? What are you doing to change it? Oh, I'm going to go there and I'm going to yell at them. I'm going to write a letter. Why don't you go and vote the trash out and vote the good folks in? And if you think someone's good and you voted them in and they proved the otherwise, don't vote for them again. Anywho, I've rampaged on that long enough. I'm pretty passionate about preventing government waste and holding them accountable because it doesn't get done enough. So always strive to do your best, be your best, and make the best decisions you can. And when you fail, don't dwell on it, learn from it, and move on.